Hello YouTube, it's me Fortmaster, and welcome to, again, something different because this is the Sonic universe explained in under 10 minutes. Now, this is one of those videos that I've been getting, a fair number of requests for, and I've been sitting on it and thinking finally, let's just get this over with. Let's actually see what it is, because, well, if you weren't aware, there are a fair number of Sonic universes out there. Thinking about it, the only one that I know any concrete proof or concrete info about was like one of the comic versions. Was it the Archie universe? I think it was the Archie universe. And like the backstory of that was like some sort of weird like virus bomb or something detonated on Earth, killed everything, and then the remaining like genetic sludge mixed together, and then hundreds of thousands of years later you had like these weird human animal hybrids, and that's why the anthropomorphic animals exist on that world. It's weird. So again, I don't know which universe they're going to try to explain in under 10 minutes, or if they're going to try to explain all of them in under 10 minutes, which I don't know whether to be impressed or frightened if that's the case. But yeah, either way, we should probably get this thing started. So yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. Yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Earth. This is Sonic's world, but don't worry about that planet for right now. We rewind thousands of years and go deep into space to this unnamed planet, and there are these aliens called Ancients. Their planet's on the verge of destruction because of this evil-looking planet thing, the End. The Ancients can't stop it and turn to Plan B, get the fuck off this planet.
Jeez, there's a lot of planets in this already, wow.
They board ships to escape into space, powered by jewels of infinite power, the Chaos Emeralds. As for their planet, it explodes. Now homeless and roaming through space, they look for a new home, but luckily their Chaos Emeralds turn into a GPS, homing in on another jewel of infinite power called the Master Emerald. Remember that name, and yes, it's on Earth.
Okay, I always again, from the little incomplete bits of knowledge I knew, I always assumed that the Chaos Emeralds were made from the Master Emerald. I didn't know that they were like two separate things. Okay.
Look at Earth. How beautiful. Humans and anthropomorphic animals exist here.
Humans and not humans.
Popped up. Earth has its own problems though. Every tens of thousands of years, a god of darkness, Dark Gaia, breaks the planet apart, and his counterpart, Light Gaia, wakes up to put him back to sleep, repair the planet, and then they both chill out for another cycle of thousands of years.
I do like that. It's like, oh, it's just a regular cycle of, the planet being absolutely destroyed.
Luckily for the Ancients, they caught these gods while they were sleeping. The Ancients, paranoid from their near run-in with death from that big evil planet thing, decide to 1. Use the Chaos Emeralds to back up data from their entire civilization onto the internet. They call this cyberspace. And 2, they build a shitload of weaponry in case that thing comes back. And it does come back. Their preparations weren't enough. In a last-ditch effort, they managed to seal this entity onto the internet. This came with a terrible loss of life, devastating the Ancients.
Sonic Frontier, so that's where the whole like weird Sonic Frontiers things comes from. Okay.
So the survivors fled the islands they called home with the Chaos Emeralds in tow and moved to a place called Angel Island, home of the Master Emerald. Thousands of years later, the Ancients have mostly died out or mutated into these peaceful creatures called Chao.
Well, okay, talk about evolution. Jeez, okay.
Still watching over the sacred shrine where their emeralds are now housed on Angel Island. Then a neighboring tribe of echidnas,
they're even less capable than they were before. Wow.
Decide it's a good idea to attack this shrine to steal the power of the emeralds, killing some of these Chao to get to them. Oops, this pisses off a water god descendant of the Ancients named Chaos, who uses the power of the emeralds to kill off most of them. The chief of the Echidna tribe's daughter, Tikal, seals herself and Chaos in the Master Emerald to...
Oh god, oh no, oh god, I completely forgot. But the mouth movements of these old 3D Sonic games. Oh no.
Stop him. The surviving echidnas think it's a good idea to make sure this doesn't happen again, so they pledge their lives to guard the Master Emerald. Oh, and at some point, Angel Island goes into the sky.
Can't get any worse, can it?
We again skip thousands of years later. A scientist, Gerald Robotnik, is living on a space colony called Ark, orbiting the Earth, working on creating the ultimate life form. With knowledge of the emeralds from the ancient Echidna tribe, and with the help of an evil alien race that decided to stop by, Shadow the Hedgehog was born, an experiment that is meant to help find the cure to the doctor's granddaughter, Maria's illness. The military, named Gunn, hates this, so they go up there and mow everyone down, including Maria. The doctor is arrested and executed, and even though Shadow managed to escape the colony, he's retrieved by the military and locked away. Are you still with me? 50-ish years.
I know when you get down to it, a lot of lore in any sort of media when it comes down to this is essentially just retcons upon retcons upon retcons. But, I mean, you gotta... I mean, out of all of the weird stuff that appeared there, the weirdest part was just, you know, Robotnik having a grandfather. Now, I know out of context, that, you know, sounds absolutely insane. I mean, from everything we know, he is just a human, and, you know, obviously every human should have, you know, parents and grandparents, but just, you know, in the Sonic world, where the vast majority of the time, you only ever see, you know, these anthropomorphic animals and the lone human, which is Robotnik. You never really connect that, oh yeah, there must have been more humans at some point to have made Robotnik. Also, is it ever explained why in a lot of these universes, Robotnik seemingly is the only human? Like, is it just the fact that it's like, oh, it's thousands of years in the future and he's like the last of our species or something like that? Or is there something else weird going on?
Years later, there is this teenage hedgehog that runs fast named Sonic, living on South Island. This is his arch nemesis, Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik, grandson of Gerald, who seeks world domination by obtaining the emeralds, kidnapping animals to power his robots. Sonic stops him. Eggman tries again by chaining a planet to the Earth that appears 1 month every year, trying to obtain gems called time stones on it to control time. He also kidnaps Sonic's biggest fan, Amy Rose. Sonic stops Eggman along with his newest creation, Metal Sonic, and saves Amy. Eggman tries again by chasing the Chaos Emeralds to another island called West Side Island. In his pursuit, Sonic meets Tails, a young fox who's bullied for his 2 tails, but in admiration for Sonic, he uses them to run very fast. Sonic likes this and they become besties. With all 7 emeralds, Sonic learns to transform into Super Sonic and stops Eggman. But there's
again, that's another thing. I mean, having Sonic's, you know, superpower form literally is called Super Sonic, as in, you know, like the speed. I mean, yes, that's corny, but too, that's awesome, just brand consistency right there.
There's no rest for the wicked. Eggman tries again, this time heading to Angel Island to gain the power of the Master Emerald, and tricks the last remaining echidna from that tribe I mentioned earlier that Sonic is the bad guy going after the emeralds. This is Knuckles. This is how Sonic meets Knuckles. Sonic and Tails pursue Eggman, and at some point Knuckles catches on that the Doctor isn't the nicest guy, and Sonic gains his respect. They work together to stop him, with Sonic becoming super again to blow up more of Eggman's stuff. After all of this, Sonic goes on vacation. Oh no, Eggman finds...
Yeah, I guess in the story, all of those games do happen in pretty quick succession. I guess, yeah, a vacation would definitely be necessary.
Out Chaos is sealed in the Master Emerald. Intending to use his power, he blows up the Master Emerald and releases Chaos in his new conquest for power. After Sonic and his friends spend days trying to stop Eggman, he loses control of an angry Chaos who steals the emeralds and levels a whole city. Sonic turns super and defeats him while quelling his anger at the same time, and Chaos can finally rest in peace. Eggman decides there's no days off and finds the location of his grandfather's ultimate weapon, Shadow. He single-handedly breaks into a military base, releases Shadow, employs a thief named Rouge the Bat, who is a government spy on the low, and they all try to get the Chaos...
Wait, really? She is? Okay, that I didn't know.
Emerald so they can fire a weapon of mass destruction hidden in the space colony Ark. Whoopsie! A scorned Gerald decides that whenever the 7 emeralds are put into the Ark's cannon, it would plummet to Earth and take everyone out as revenge for the death of his granddaughter. Sonic and friends convince Shadow the Earth is worth fighting for.
Actually, wait a second. I just realized. So, Maria, she was Dr. Robotnik's, like, the first one's granddaughter, and so that would make her either Eggman's, like, sister or cousin, depending. Wait, am I actually right on this? Like, I gotta look this up. Right, yeah, okay, yeah, so definitely, she's Dr. Eggman's cousin. Huh. You know, I had never thought of that before. I wonder what Eggman feels about the whole thing about her, you know, his cousin dying.
And both hedgehogs turn into super forms to stop the Ark, and this Shadow prototype that's hanging off the end of it. Shadow plummets to Earth after the battle and dies. Never mind, he's still alive. Saved by Eggman, who decides to make clones of him. Also, Metal Sonic decides to rebel against Eggman, so Sonic and all of his friends, new and old, stop him. Peace has returned.
Wrong.
That evil alien that helped Gerald create Shadow showed up to come collect. Shadow says fuck all that and wipes out these aliens. After his little break, Dr. Eggman wants to unleash an evil god of time called Solaris, who's partially sealed inside this princess that Sonic decides to go on a date with. Meanwhile, a pissed off hedgehog...
Oh god, no, that's from Sonic 06. Oh no. Oh no, this is where the story gets weird.
From the future named Silver comes back in time to stop the destruction of his world. 3 Hedgehogs go super this time to defeat this god who transports Sonic and the princess back in time before the piece of the god was sealed within her. It's this candle, by the way. So she blows it out, which causes the events of the game to never happen. And we never see her again. Remember those warring gods on Earth I spoke about? Well, time's up. Eggman fires a Chaos Emerald-powered cannon at the Earth and awakens Dark Gaia, who splits up the Earth and kills billions. This drains the Emerald of their power and somehow turns Sonic into a Werehog.
Oh god, yeah, right, this one, the Werehog, stupidest yet funniest concept of the entire series.
He falls with the emeralds to Earth, and with the help of this little creature.
Wait, then again, also, the whole thing with him being a Werehog, that doesn't really make sense, like, word-wise, because the whole thing of were in a werewolf was man, so he'd be more like a wolf hog or something like that. Either that, or when he turns into the Werehog, into the Werehog, he's like 1/3 wolf, 1/3 hedgehog, and 1/3 human, or maybe just the human DNA added in causes his hedgehog have to go even full monstrous or whatever. It's again really weird game.
Named Chip goes on a world backpacking tour to restore the power of the emeralds. Plot twist, Chip is the other god, like Gaia, who lost his memory, and together he and Sonic beat Dark Gaia, staving off the threat for another cycle. Chip must rest again for another cycle of thousands of years to be ready for Dark Gaia's next resurface, and says goodbye to Sonic, giving him his bracelet as a gift. We never see it again. Eggman crosses Dark Gaia off the list of things to do to conquer the world, and this time he opens a space amusement park out of the kindness of his heart, complete with multiple planets for people to visit. Oh wait, no, he enslaves an entire alien race called the Wisps to harness their power for a mind control laser to take over Earth.
You know, you'd think, especially, like, where does Eggman get all the capital for all this stuff? Because of course he has robots to do that, but he had to have started somewhere. Or is it literally just he has enough robots at this point that he's basically able to be completely independent from the rest of human society? Because I could have easily seen it being he made the giant amusement park just as a form of revenue to, you know, continue funding his operations.
Sonic and Tails stop him again, and most of the Wisps go home, with some staying behind on Earth to live in peace. Eggman, stranded in space, finds an all-powerful time-traveling entity called the Time Eater, and uses it to go back in time and recruit his past self to help him out. Meanwhile, it's Sonic's birthday, but
you know, for a franchise whose main MacGuffin or main shtick is, you know, going fast, there is a lot of time travel in this series, I'm noticing.
But before he can celebrate, he and all his friends are sucked into time by the Time Eater. So he goes through different periods of time to find his friends, and oh look, he meets his past self. And after they save everyone, they stop the Eggmans in their super forms and continue their birthday celebration. Classic Sonic goes back to his own time and may or may not still be living out events that are occurring in an alternate timeline/dimension. Meanwhile, Eggman tries the conquest thing again by going to a world in the skies called the Lost Hex, home of a race known as the Zeti, or the Deadly Six. Eggman uses this shell to keep them in check while Sonic carelessly kicks it away. Now the Deadly Six are free of his control and turn against Eggman, leading him to work together with Sonic to stop them from draining the Earth of all of its life force.
Gee, imagine that. When you get rid of the ability to control the evil force becomes uncontrollable.
Sonic and Tails have a falling out, Eggman falls into lava and dies, but after handling their beef, Sonic and Tails work together to defeat the Deadly Six. Plot twist, Eggman faked his death and has one last assault on Sonic.
Of course. I mean, I would find it very hard to believe that the death of Eggman, the main antagonist for the entire, you know, Sonic franchise, would have been thrown away so half-heartedly.
It fails. Time passes and Eggman installs a powerful gem called the Phantom Ruby into a jackal mercenary he recruited that got mollywopped by Shadow. This jackal renames himself Infinite and can use the gem to alter reality. With this power, he defeats Sonic, and being uncontested, Eggman takes over the world. Sonic is thought to be dead, but he's actually just in jail. His friends form the Resistance, recruiting whatever they can to fight back. They recruit this avatar thing that fans had a blast creating, who helps to save Sonic from captivity.
Yeah, I remember seeing
Classic
that.
Sonic somehow ends up here too. They all work together to stop Eggman and murder Infinite. Yes, it's confirmed, Sonic killed this guy, and the planet was taken back. So after a little break, Eggman turns to the power of the Ancients for help on his plan for world domination. With his newest AI creation, Sage, he returns to their old home, the Starfall Islands, and attempts to have her hack into cyberspace. Due to the island's security, Sage has to protect her papa by hiding him away in cyberspace. Sonic, Tails, and Amy head to these islands since the Chaos Emerald decided to act all weird and return to it. They're all sucked into cyberspace, with Sonic being the only one who can get out. Knuckles was transported there as well at some point when he stumbled upon ruins of the ancients on Angel Island. During his time on the island, Sonic learns the history of the ancients from the Coco, beings that we learn are the last remaining essence of the ancients stored in Lucky Charms they used to carry around. Sonic now has to save his friends from cyberspace by destroying the creations of the ancients, the Titans. By doing this, he releases the seal on cyberspace, and the big bad evil planet, the End, returns. Enlisting the help of Sage and Eggman, Sonic in his super form stops the End to save his friends and avenges the ancients. But Sage sacrifices herself in the process, and Eggman is sad. But in the DLC, Sonic can take another route and learn from the memories of the ancients to master the cyber energy he's been absorbing throughout his adventure, to become Super Sonic 2. That's actually what it's called in the game files. He destroys the End.
Oh god, no. No. They're following Dragon Ball, and they're just going to keep giving him new super forms that are just numerically stronger than the previous, and then they're going to have to go to like Super Sonic God Sonic Super Sonic mode or whatever. No.
And with the help of Eggman, and this time everyone gets out alive. This adventure was crazy enough to convince Sonic's friends to go on a spiritual journey to find themselves, while Eggman goes home as a happy father. That's where the lore is now. Let me know if I should do this again.
I mean, if she survived, that's good. Oh, God. I mean, it's kind of funny. When you get down to with the exception of, say, like, Mario, which can be weird if you actually lay out the lore, if you actually find any lore from the main series. But, like, a lot of these, like, super long-running series, and I guess that just comes with the territory of being, existing for so long, but their stories get super weird. I mean, who would have thought when the first Sonic game, was released, that they'd have, like, ancients, evil living planets locked away in, like, dimensional internets, several generations of mad scientists, clones. I'm not a real fan of the Sonic series. I've never really played that many of the games, but there's always a time when, like, out of the corner of my eye, I see something new come into the Sonic franchise. Whether it's like a comic book, a new game, the movies, and I can't help but, like, get temporarily engrossed into it just because, like, I'm just reminded by, like, how weird and fun the universe can be. But yeah, definitely a good video. But that is going to be it for now, unfortunately. So yeah, of course, as always, original video is linked in the description if you hadn't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And yeah, with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.